Now, most monuments that you're likely to find lying around the British countryside do have a legend or two attached to them, and this one is no exception. The story goes that it marks the spot where King Arthur, no less, slew a giant. But where is this tall tale set, and is it true? Well, join me in just a few moments, and I'll tell you. On today's show, we found a fantastic collection of properties to tempt our buyers. But there's one word we need to avoid.
I'm not going to say nice. This is one of the nicest rooms in the house, actually.
Oh, nice.
I wasn't going to say the nice word, was I?
Well, today we are in Herefordshire. And although most counties like to lay some sort of claim to the Arthurian legend, this thing has absolutely nothing to do with him. It is, in fact, a Neolithic burial mound. Some 5,000 years ago, our ancestors interred their dead in these things. When it was first built, it would have been covered with a huge mound of earth. Many were deliberately sited on hilltops to dominate the landscapes below. Now, this is probably one of the oldest man-made structures in the county, but strangely, it's never been excavated, so who knows what lies beneath it. But of course, it's what's above ground that's of real interest to us. And what's more, Herefordshire is also my new home. So take it from me, it's a county that has plenty to recommend it. Landlocked Herefordshire is one of England's most remote and sparsely populated counties, and borders Worcestershire to the east and Shropshire to the north. The landscape is mainly rural, and agriculture plays a key role in the local economy. The rich, fertile soil is excellent for fruit growing, and apple orchards are a common feature across the county. The capital, the city of Hereford, was originally a border garrison town and literally means army ford. At its centre is the towering cathedral. East of Hereford, in the town of Ledbury, you'll find excellent examples of the distinctive black and white style architecture the county is famous for, including the 17th century market house. It balances on top of 16 wooden posts, supposedly taken from a wreck from the Spanish Armada. With the River Wye meandering its way through scenic, unspoilt countryside, Herefordshire is arguably one of the most peaceful counties in Britain. Now, when it comes to property prices here in Herefordshire, they pretty much reflect the national picture, with your average detached coming in at about £254,000. But if you're not that fussed about being close to any one of the county's 5 market towns, such as Ledbury or indeed Ross-on-Wye, you could push your search a little bit further westward towards the border with Wales. There, your property pound will certainly go that bit further, and you'll have plenty of space in which to spend it. And it's that sense of space that today's buyers so desperately crave. Steve and Yvonne currently own this 4-bedroom house in Wheatley on the outskirts of the city of Oxford. Their desire to live in a more rural setting has been on the cards for a while.
Just under 10 years ago, I retired, and the master plan was to spend 2 years around the country on a narrowboat that I just bought, but that never came to fruition.
The move was put on hold as Yvonne gave up her teaching job to become a full-time carer for her elderly father. Sadly, he died this year. Leaving their home will be emotional, but they feel it's time for a change of scene.
I came to teach here in 1971, and been in Oxfordshire since, so I have a lot of friends and I will miss those. What I won't miss, I suppose, is the closeness of everything and the noise and the traffic. I hanker for wider spaces.
They've been married for 33 years, and during that time they've bought 7 houses together. But this move to rural Herefordshire, they hope, will be their last.
This is the opportunity to find exactly what we want, what Steve will be happy with, plenty of space around us, and just relax in our golden days.
And having that space around them is probably a good thing, as Steve has some particularly noisy hobbies.
I've always tinkered about playing guitar, And one of the things that I always said I'd like to do when I retired was to learn to play the drums. Now, I have this set of drums, and up until very recently, they've been stored away in my friend's garage because of all the house renovations. But I've just got them out, and I'm just looking forward to going somewhere where I can start to learn and bash away.
And when he's not hammering the drums, he's keen to work on the new house, having completely renovated their current home.
I have a go at most things, you know, brickwork, plastering, plumbing. I've done a lot of woodwork and also built some bespoke sheds for myself and Yvonne.
Fortunately, Yvonne prefers quieter pursuits.
I spend a lot of my spare time in the craft studio that Steve built for me, although I call it a shed, but it's posher than a shed. I do crochet, I do needlework, I do artwork. I've got a project in there waiting to be finished. I also love my gardening. I grow veggies as well. And then when I'm not doing that, I go swimming. So I'm a busy girl, really.
All that's left is to find out how much money they've set aside for this move to rural Herefordshire.
The budget for the move, well, between £600,000 and £700,000, although if we find the right property, we could push ourselves to £750,000.
Steve and Yvonne aren't fussy about a specific location in Herefordshire, but want lots of space around them. So for a change, we have a free rein with our property search. I'm meeting them to go over the details of what they want from their country relocation.
Welcome to Herefordshire.
Thank you.
So just paint us a picture then, Yvonne, of what this new life is going to comprise.
Peace, quiet, the ability to do what I want without any interference from anybody else. Just time to spend to do the things that I want to do.
I mean, I know you're an engineer, Steve, and I know that you've done quite a bit of work on previous properties that you've owned. How involved are you intending to get with this new building, whatever it's going to be?
Well, if you got the right place in the right location, if it's done and finished and shiny to move in, then that's fine. And obviously that'll reflect the budget variation.
Yeah.
If it was a raw barn that wanted fitting out but was the right place in the right location, then I'd take that on as well.
So the specification of this property, Yvonne.
Like everybody, I'd like a spacious kitchen. I love open plan. I'd like more accommodation downstairs than upstairs. Outbuildings, I love outbuildings.
Yeah, don't we all?
Yeah, so that I can do painting and flap about in it and make mess without having to tidy it up, just leave it.
Now, you've said more space downstairs than upstairs.
Yeah.
How many bedrooms do we need?
3's okay, but 4 would be fine, you know.
So just remind us of the budget for this move.
Well, we said sort of 600,000 to 700,000, but then obviously, you know, if the right place came along, then we'd push to 750.
We've got 3 properties to show you, including our mystery house.
Yeah.
What's that going to be?
We only want one.
Yeah, well, there you are.
Yeah.
But 3 should, I hope, leave you spoilt for choice here.
Yep.
The property market in this part of the world is absolutely superb, and you've got a budget to match.
Excellent.
Okay, that's good.
Come on then,
Good
follow
news.
me.
Okay.
Excellent.
For a maximum budget of £750,000, Steve and Yvonne want a house with space around them and far-reaching views. In terms of layout, they prefer open-plan accommodation and favour the downstairs space over the bedrooms, although they would like at least 3 of those. Yvonne would like a large kitchen and an outbuilding for her artwork. We've arranged 3 stunning properties for Steve and Yvonne to view here in Herefordshire, and at each one I'll be putting their pricing skills to the test. Our last, the mystery house, may leave our buyers brewing with excitement. For our first property, we're heading to the village of Kernbridge in the south of the county. It's within a stone's throw of one of Herefordshire's key attractions, and that's where we're making a short stop.
Right then. So, why are we not at property number 1, you're thinking?
Yep.
Why are we here looking at this stretch of river? As a bit of a scene setter, I thought we'd pause here at Simmons Yat, this wonderful gorge, which is one of the great kind of tourist hotspots of this part of the world. That's the River Wye.
Yep.
And this lovely little collection of pubs and restaurants is ever so popular. And all of this would be on your doorstep because property number 1 is just over that hill.
Wow.
But it does mean we've got to cross the river.
Okay. Do we swim?
No, we're going to drive. Come on.
Our first property is a 5-minute drive away in Kernbridge, nestled into the hillside on the edge of an area of outstanding natural beauty.
So, there is property number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But you did say location was everything. And that view,
Yeah, stunning.
I think, really kind of makes this property.
Yeah.
That certainly is a view, Jules.
So what do you think, Yvonne?
I think the views are stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what about our property?
Well, I'll wait to
Well,
see. Wait to see.
The outside looks promising. I'm eager to see the inside.
But in terms of setting,
Oh,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, no,
sure. I mean,
yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
speaks for itself.
Yeah.
The setting.
let's have a look.
It's a thumbs up for the location, but let's hope that this 19th century building, which has been extended over the years, continues to deliver once we get inside. We're accessing it via the conservatory.
Right, we're going to start with the principal living room, which is this one.
Yes. It's. I'm not going to say nice.
You can do. Nice is legitimate.
It's. Yeah. It's oldie looking, isn't it? It's in keeping. It has mega views.
Well, that's what it's all about.
Mega views.
Yeah.
Mega
Double
views.
aspect, isn't it?
Yeah.
Through that door over there is a little study area
Right.
and the boiler room. And of course, you've got the great big fireplace as well.
Yeah, but you could put a log burner in there.
Well, let's see what you think about the dining room. That's through here. Follow me up the steps and through the hallway. And then this is the dining end, which also goes out into the conservatory, of course, which
Yeah.
we saw earlier.
Yeah.
Right, yes.
I don't know, something was worrying me about your reactions to this one.
I'm not moved at the moment.
You're not moved.
Can't fault that view.
No, I mean,
but,
the views are excellent.
But it's got to be a little bit
the-
more than just a view.
Let's keep going. Let's see if we can find a bit more for you.
Okay.
Come and have a look at the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted something a bit bigger than this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably a bit more in planned as well for
What-
you,
yeah.
although obviously
I'm
this-
finding it a little bit boxy.
One of the issues we sort of face with your very generous budget in this part of the world, we could find you something absolutely enormous and
Yeah.
arguably too big.
Yeah,
So we've
sure.
tried to strike a balance with our first property.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Just to complete the picture in here, you've got a little utility room
Yep.
Yeah.
through there, which is very handy, and another door out to the front. But that's pretty much the principal areas downstairs.
Yeah.
Let's go up.
Okay.
I'm crossing everything. Maybe we can find a wow. You never know.
Right.
Not the best of starts with the downstairs tour of our first house. I fear it's just not grabbing Steve and Yvonne. Perhaps we can do better upstairs, where there are 4 bedrooms, all of which are good-sized doubles. One of those offers a large ensuite and could make a good master, but I have another bedroom in mind for our buyers.
So this, we're thinking, would make a very nice master.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a good size, and plus it's got a nice feel. This room.
It's cosy.
Yeah.
It may not be the biggest room up here, and of course it doesn't have the ensuite that exists down the corridor.
No.
But with the little box room next door,
You could knock through.
that's what we're thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one of the nicest rooms in the house,
Yes,
actually.
a lovely feel.
So we didn't get a wow, but we did get a nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I wasn't going to say the nice word, was I?
I think it deserves it.
Because lying in bed and looking at those views must be fabulous. But the downstairs doesn't do justice to it at all.
Well, one other factor on your wish list are, of course, outbuildings.
Yep.
Let's go and have a look at those, and we'll talk about the price, because that will be interesting to gauge where we're at with this one. Follow me.
The gardens include a planted rockery, shrubs and lawned areas with stunning views over the Wye Valley. There's a large double garage with a generous office space at the back, as well as 2 further outbuildings. One could make an excellent workshop or craft room, and there's an additional one for storage. There's also a swimming pool, which should keep Yvonne happy.
Now, some buyers, of course, insist on a pool.
Yeah.
You've got one as a bonus. Now we're going to talk about the price on this one.
I'm certainly going to go in on the low side, and that is going to be about 575.
575?
That's even under the lower part of, I know what budget we set.
Yeah.
I'd say 585, just fractionally more.
585.
But I'm just saying that to play devil's advocate, really.
Well, you know, it is all in the eye of the beholder, and that's you two on this occasion. This is on the market for offers in excess of 635.
Is it?
Oh, not too far out then, but...
Well, I don't want you to leave this place without having a good look around those outbuildings because clearly they are important.
Yeah.
Go and check them out. See what 635 really means in this part of the world.
Okay.
And I will catch up with you a little bit later. Why don't you head off that way?
Okay.
Prized at offers over £635,000, our first property is well within budget with money to spare to make adjustments. It's a 19th century home situated on a hillside overlooking the River Wye. The downstairs accommodation includes a large living room and kitchen and breakfast room. All of the 4 bedrooms are of a good size. The outside space includes 2 outbuildings, and from the garden there are stunning views of the surrounding countryside.
It's quite a nice cottage as it is. There isn't a lot of scope for doing modifications to the inside, not without doing major building work to it. Well, for this house to work for me, primarily it had to be more secluded.
The views are absolutely stunning. I mean, you know, can't fault that. The views are stunning. But you've got to have a bit more than a view. You've got to want to like the house or see the potential of the house.
Right, out you come. Grab the door,
Okay.
Steve. Something tells me you're not going to be opening that again.
No.
I don't think so.
No. Well, tough sell, I suppose, in some respects, if it's got this issue with levels and the space. But I'm confident property number 2 is going to be more what you're looking for.
Good. It will be.
Crossing everything.
Let's be positive.
Once described as a forest of trees, Herefordshire is known for its apples, and today it's home to more than 3,000 orchards. Whereas traditional orchards are in decline across the rest of the country, one group of Ledbury farmers are bucking the trend. Thanks to a pioneering business model, here at Dragon Orchard, they're planting new trees and bottling apple juice and cider on site. Since Steve and Yvonne are keen to experience Herefordshire traditions, we sent them to meet owner Norman Stainer, whose family have farmed these orchards for over 100 years, to find out why this county has become the UK's very own Big Apple.
We're very lucky because we've got fantastic natural conditions. We've got fantastic soil here. It's really, really rich and it holds moisture well, which is what you need for fruit growing. And the climate is just right. The far west of the county are the Black Mountains, which take a lot of rain. Just west of here, we've got a ridge called the Markle Ridge. So we're in a little microclimate.
How long have you actually been growing apples here?
My wife and I took over from my parents 20 years ago and took over at a declining time, really. People were eating less English apples and supermarkets were beginning to become much more popular. So the little local shops were taking less apples. So we came up with a community-supported agriculture scheme we call Dragon Orchard Crop Sharers. People can come and sponsor a tree, or they can come and be part of our crop sharer scheme and actually pay an annual subscription to join in with what we do in our orchard and in our community.
The scheme encourages people to get involved in fruit picking and production in return for a take-home share of the crop. Today, Steve and Yvonne are lending a hand. Once the apples are picked, it's on to the grading stage, where they're sorted depending on size for different uses. Large ones head straight for the shop, the smaller ones are made into juice. The rest are turned into cider, and Steve and Yvonne are meeting the man responsible for the production process, Simon Day. This particular batch has been produced using the champagne method, a secondary stage of fermentation whereby yeast and sugar is added to the bottles to create the famous bubbly.
When you have sparkling cider, champagne method cider, you end up with yeast in the bottle, and if I turn that, you might be able to see the yeast all along the side. And it's spent 2 years with that yeast on the side and developing flavours. And what we need to do is to get that yeast out. And so the riddling frame, or pupitre in French, is how you do that. And basically it's a process of quick movements like this over a period of about 35 days, so over a month, that gently sweeps the yeast around the bottle. And what you end up with is a beautifully clear product with just the yeast right down in the neck of the bottle, sitting on top of the crown cap.
The end of the bottle is then frozen at minus 27 degrees. The pressure build-up forces the yeast out and you're left with a clear solution that's begging to be tasted.
Not too sure whether I like that, Simon. Perhaps we'll try a bit more.
For sure.
The champagne cider seems to have gone down well. Let's hope later on we'll all be raising a glass to today's buyers and toasting their move to the country. For our second offering, we're crossing the border into Worcestershire to the village of Callow End. In 1651, King Charles II stayed here before he was defeated at the Battle of Worcester during the English Civil War. Today, the village consists of 2 pubs, a shop and a chapel. Although we've left Herefordshire, we're much closer to Oxford and Steve and Yvonne's friends.
Right. Well, here we are. Our second property, not a bad spot, and actually, not a bad looking property.
Yeah, it does look nice.
Looks okay from here.
Looks good.
Steve, the wheels are turning. What's happening?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. I mean, give us a sense of what you make of its look and character, because it certainly has a bit more about it than number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's got.
yeah.
I mean, it's no comparison. It's got a lot more character. You've got the black and white outside. You know, you can see the old brick-style cottage. You can see the new style added on, but very sympathetically.
Yeah.
You know.
Happy?
Yeah?
Relieved?
See?
Relieved?
We'll see.
Come on.
It's a slightly better reaction to our second house. It's a substantial part-timbered property, which traded as a public house until the early 20th century. I'm hoping Steve and Yvonne will be sipping their cider champagne once we're inside, as the interior has been completely remodelled and is more open plan. Let's start with the big kitchen diner you're after.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yes?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
very nice.
This is more like it.
Yeah?
More like it.
I thought this might be.
Yeah.
It's all new, it's all been done in the last 3 or 4 years. There's a very generous utility room through there and a really nice downstairs shower room as well, should you need it.
Yeah, excellent so far.
No, it's nice. I'm not using that word nice. It's
okay.
very pleasing to the eye.
Let's go with nice. Let's enjoy the word nice and soak up all that it means, because it is nice, it's gorgeous.
It is, it is.
You don't very often get a wow out of Yvonne, but very nice is probably...
I get the feeling we might be building towards it, Steve.
Yeah,
Let's see if we can get one.
Never
Come
know.
this way. As well as the open-plan kitchen breakfast room, there's a large entrance hallway, and off that a spacious study. And then this is your main living area. Come right into this room, because it's quite a lot to take in, actually.
That's nice. I'm using that
Yeah.
word again, but I love the beams. Yeah. Good size, actually.
And actually, you've
Double
got this
aspect, nice
exactly.
views,
The dual
nice
aspect
views.
is
Yeah.
unusual in a house this wide.
Yeah.
Nice feel.
No, it does
Relaxing.
have a nice feel.
Relaxing. You said earlier that obviously it was the downstairs that
Yeah.
mattered more.
Yep.
I don't think the upstairs is going to disappoint you.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm crossing everything. You never know, you might get a wow at some point. There are 4 good-sized bedrooms on the first floor, including a large double and 2 smaller rooms. They're all serviced by a large family bathroom, which just leaves the master suite. And then finally, his and hers basins in your own
Yeah.
ensuite, nice freestanding bath in there. And then this is obviously the master bedroom itself.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah?
The way the ensuite's through there, it flows lovely.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, it doesn't look like it's stuck on the end or anything. It's lovely.
Curiously, it also has this little sort of mezzanine dressing area up there in the roof space itself.
Interesting.
That's really sweet. You could have it as a kind of master snug if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Little sofa in there, TV.
Yeah.
So how are we doing?
You're doing pretty well.
In addition to the main house, our second property comes with a range of outbuildings in the grounds. These include a laundry room and garden stores, but there's also this red brick building which houses a garage and workshop, and on the upper floor, a vast loft space, offering plenty of options for Yvonne's artwork and Steve to tinker around with. The gardens are extensive. Most of it's laid to lawn, but there's also a terrace with an ornamental pond. The property even comes with its own apple orchard. Now,
Grounds-wise, it's just under an acre.
Yeah.
All right. But I love that view of
Yeah,
it.
it's gorgeous.
Smashing.
Now, the River Severn, is just a few yards that way.
Yep.
So, you know, it's kind of on your doorstep. So it's an interesting property in terms of its location.
Yeah.
It's imposing, but hasn't lost its cottage sort of feel. You
No,
know?
and it's not over the top.
So, let's think about the price then.
It's got to be top end of our budget. 740, 750.
740, 750, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm going to come down a little bit from that. I'm going to come down to, say, about 720.
I, myself, would expect this to start with a 7.
Yeah.
The exciting news is that it starts with a 6.
That's
Is
it.
it?
£685,000.
Crikey.
Oh, that's good.
That
We've
is
gone the other way this time, you see.
Yeah, we've gone over the top. I love that kitchen and I love those outbuildings.
Right, go and explore those outbuildings.
Okay.
Off you go. I'll catch up with you later. On the market at offers around £685,000, our vast second property is still within budget. It's a part-timbered former pub, parts of which date to the 17th century. The interior has been redesigned in recent years and includes a large open-plan kitchen diner. There are 4 bedrooms, as well as the additional room off the master suite. The property comes with a range of outbuildings, and it's all set in an acre of land on the banks of the River Severn.
What I love about the house is the openness. Looking at the house, it's just so very, very pretty. And of course, the icing on the cake is that there's all those tremendous outbuildings. So as far as I'm concerned, it would be a really good contender.
It's very pretty from the outside. It's laid out fantastically well. This lounge in itself, very peaceful, relaxing room, nice fireplace.
Oh, the last rays of sunshine after a busy day. This is just lovely. Hello.
Hiya.
Talking of lovely,
Hello, Jules.
Yeah.
how's our lovely house then?
It's lovely. It is lovely. It's lovely.
But is it the one? Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe for one of us, maybe for not the other one. I don't know.
Let's go and sleep on it and prepare ourselves for the mystery house.
Yeah.
Come on.
Excellent.
It's day 2 of our property search, and on a generous budget of £750,000, we're helping Steve and Yvonne from Oxford find peace and harmony in Herefordshire. Coming up, will the mystery house pass the test?
Come on, give us a score out of 10.
Well, I used to teach, and I never gave 10 out of 10s, so I'll give it a 9.
I'll take that as a 10 then.
And I'll be finding out what it means to own a piece of English history.
Well, as we head into our final day of house hunting, we are approaching what is arguably one of the most eagerly anticipated parts of the process, the moment when we can reveal our mystery house to our buyers. Now, in the past, we've had wonderful windmills, beautiful barns, inventive industrial conversions, follies, chapels, you name it. We've pretty much done it, and this week is no exception. We've got a building lined up that I think really does reflect this area's rich agricultural past. As mystery houses go, take it from me, this one is a real classic. And given the reaction of Yvonne and Steve to our properties yesterday, I think it probably has to be. So was there a lot to talk about last night?
No, it was quite simple, really. Property number 1 was just a definitely no-go.
Yep.
Property number 2 was a go with me, but not a go with Steve.
So we need a yes from our mystery house.
Well, we certainly do need a yes.
What would it take to make it a yes? What are you hoping for?
I'm hoping for a property by itself, secluded, with its own land all around it. If it's the right house like that in the right location, I don't really mind whether it wants a certain amount of work doing, because obviously that's doable. It's not doable to pick up a house that's nice and move it somewhere to another location.
For our final property, we're heading back over the border into Herefordshire and to the hamlet of Cannon Frome. The closest amenities are to be found 3.5 miles away in the village of Bishop's Frome, which has a parish church, a pub serving real ale and a village shop. The area has a long hop-growing tradition, and in its former life, our mystery house played an important role in the brewing industry here in Herefordshire. It's packed with character and history, but it isn't the isolated property Steve and Yvonne were after. So I'm crossing my fingers with this one.
So this, I think, is the best place to really take in our mystery house.
It certainly is.
It's an old oast house. It's enormous. It's about 4,000 square feet. The only compromise, Steve, is the fact that there is a farm next door.
Yeah.
Sure.
OK, but that way
Yeah.
is nothing.
I think I'm not too uneasy with that.
Good. Let's get in our mystery house and see if we can sell it to you. Come on.
I'm relieved that Steve isn't put off by the neighbouring farm, because our spacious mystery house really is worth seeing. Built around 1895, the former hop barn was completely renovated by the current owners 3 years ago.
Now, what a greeting.
Wow.
Wow.
A wow!
Yeah.
2 wows.
Wow. Yeah.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Yes, it is.
We don't normally sort of linger in hallways on our house tours, but this is one that's worth spending some time in because it really is the hub of this building.
Yeah.
What they have done is totally renewed the floor. This is local stone from the Black Mountains, underfloor heating, big kitchen diner. This way, madam. So, Yvonne, come on up, let's explore.
Gosh.
Yes?
Yeah, it's lovely.
You've got the boiler room through there and a utility room as well. And you've got this view, yeah.
They're all bifolds.
They all open up, exactly. So on a nice hot summer's day.
Love it.
Come on, give us a score out of 10.
Well, I used to teach and I never gave 10 out of 10s, so I'll give it a 9.
I'll take that as a 10 then.
As well as the kitchen, there are 3 other rooms off the spacious entrance hallway, including a generous study and a cosy snug. But I want to show our space-loving couple the largest reception room.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like the open stonework on the wall there. Nice feel too, just a nice relaxing feel again here.
You've got
Yeah.
some lovely bits of detailing like this old door and so on.
That's
Noticed
stunning,
that on
isn't
the way
it?
in, yeah.
Look at the width of them. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the joy of converting an agricultural,
Yeah.
industrial building like this, is that you get these proportions you don't get in a modern building.
No.
Tell a few stories, that one.
Let's go and take a look at the upstairs and find you a sumptuous master bedroom.
There are 4 large bedrooms off the first floor landing, as well as a family bath and shower room with exposed brickwork. There's 1 large double, and 2 of the bedrooms have separate stairs access to 2 further rooms on the second floor of the property, ideal for storage or as extra office space, which just leaves the master.
Quite an unusual layout in many respects. Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when we first met, you said very clearly that what really mattered was the downstairs space.
Yeah.
But this place clearly delivers over and above
Yeah.
upstairs.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely. 9 double plus.
A 9 double plus. Excellent. I like that. Good. Now, this is the master because it has this very unusual ensuite. You liked open plan, you said. How about a bit of open plan bathing?
That is, isn't it?
Well, that's different, isn't it?
It's very different. It's the sort of thing you might find in a kind of boutique hotel
Yeah.
these days.
Yes.
My guess is that you might give yourself a little bit of a project here, Steve, by continuing these walls.
Yeah.
Maybe even rearranging the access with a door.
Yeah.
But I think in some cases you have to live in a place first before you decide what you're going to change.
Yeah.
Get to know it.
Yeah.
Around it.
Well, I get the feeling that this really has struck a chord with both of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
The house has certainly passed with flying colours, but I'm keen to see if we'll get top marks with the garden and grounds. Although there are fewer outbuildings here than at our last property, just this timber carport and adjoining shed, there's a generous 2.3 acres of land, including 3 paddocks as well as a large lawn.
So this is one of the paddocks, friendly sheep looking on. And there, of course, is our mystery house. And you like what you see.
I do. I really do.
So do I.
9 triple plus.
9 triple plus. We'll never get a 10 out of you, will we?
No.
But will it score highly on the price?
Yeah. 750.
Oh, straight in at the top end of the budget. OK, no messing.
It's got to be around that area, isn't it? I think it's 750, really. You know.
Should we agree on 750?
Let's go for
Yeah.
750, yeah.
I would if I were you, because that's what it's on the market
Yeah.
for.
Right.
Spot
I
on.
think got one right there.
Spot on.
Excellent. Well,
You're not phased at all, are you, by that?
No.
no, just thinking about it'd rather be spent on that than leave it in the bank, quite frankly.
Well, you get more fun out of it here.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Go on, go and take some time, explore it at your leisure,
Yep.
and get out of this rain. Go
Okay.
on, off you go.
And maybe some time.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I'd take a lot of time because this is a fabulous building. It's taken the current owners something of a lifetime to turn it into this fabulous mystery house. But once again, it might have done the trick. This could be exactly what Steve and Yvonne are looking for. On the market at £750,000, our mystery house is as far as Steve and Yvonne are willing to go on price. It's a former oast house, which has been renovated in the last few years, but retains much of its character. The accommodation includes a large sitting room and kitchen, as well as 4 good-sized bedrooms. It sits in 2.3 acres of land, which includes paddocks for stabling, and the property has views of the surrounding Herefordshire countryside.
This is just, I mean, it's got all the aspirations of the interior of a sort of property that we want, but then it's also got all the outside features and the character of the building that it is.
I just like the openness of it,
Yeah.
the space of it.
What I would have ideally liked is a property that was surrounded by its own ground, so you had no neighbours. And yes, there is a property next door, but you know, you never find a property with absolutely everything that you want, so there's always a compromise.
Well, I think we might have arrived at our destination. As far as your future is concerned, who knows?
I think you've done really well with this one, certainly.
Good. Right then, I'm going to whisk you away out into the rain. Come on. On Escape to the Country, we get to show buyers around all manner of different houses, some of which are historically and architecturally important enough to have listed building status. But what does that mean when it comes to buying and renovating one of the hundreds of thousands of listed buildings? Herefordshire has around 6,000 examples, and I've come to one of them, Wellbrook Manor, to meet Laura Norris of the Vivat Trust, a charity which specialises in restoring listed properties and turning them into exclusive holiday lets to pay for the work. And this is Wellbrook Manor.
This is Wellbrook Manor. Isn't she beautiful?
Absolutely stunning. Now, what grade of listing is Wellbrook?
Wellbrook is a Grade 1.
Is it?
Grade 1 listed.
So that's as high as it gets.
Exactly. The same as Buckingham Palace.
But what is it about this building that makes it so special?
Number 1, it's from 1340, so that's kind of a bit of a marker. It's a medieval hall house that sits on the border of England and Wales. It's very unusual, and you don't really see that outside. What you see is a lovely building. Inside, it tells a different story.
Come on then, give me the tour, Laura.
All right then.
Wellbrook Manor was altered in the late 16th century and restored in the 1920s. Laura's charity is in the process of correcting the previous restoration work that, at the time, was considered good building practice. The first stage was to remove a cement pebble-render applied a century ago to keep the moisture out that has revealed the original medieval timbers and now allows the building to breathe again. The work will now move to the inside of the house, where the manor is slowly revealing its secrets.
Tell us how this building has evolved and what you've learnt about it.
Well, Jules, see that ceiling?
Yes.
In 1340, that's not there. A vandal in the 1700s came and put that ceiling in. So this should be a double height space, and it should have another wing running down the side.
Should it?
Where the lawn is, and that would have been the service wing.
Now, going back to the fact that it's listed and that it's at the top of the listing scale,
Yeah.
are there any compromises that you've had to make in terms of the repair and conservation of this building?
Actually, no, because what we've done is we've listened to the building and dealt with it appropriately for its listing. That said, not as many people are as fortunate as we are. We're not going to use it as a permanent residence. It will be holiday lets, so you don't need as much storage. You don't need as much clutter space. You need something that's beautiful.
It's quite a holiday let.
The older a building is, the more likely it is to be listed. Grade 1 buildings are of exceptional interest, often considered to be internationally important, but the vast majority, around 92%, are Grade 2. Whatever the grade, listing doesn't mean you can't change anything. It simply means that consent is required to make any alterations to the building which might affect its special interest. anyone can suggest a building for listing to English heritage, although the decision on whether to list rests with the government. One of the reasons this building is listed is its impressive medieval timber-framed roof.
I mean, going back to the date of this, 1340,
Yeah.
again, how much of this is original?
Quite a bit of it. And yes, it has been supported and it's been mucked around by various generations. But the majority of this, particularly the roof,
Yeah.
is 1340.
I mean, this is why we celebrate listed
Exactly.
buildings, because of the history and the character that they imbue. But I mean a lot of people on Escape to the Country who would run a mile from a listed building. They are not to be feared.
No, they're not. They're to be embraced.
Although the listing is there to protect buildings such as Welbrook Manor, they need to be lived in order to survive. And it's exciting to think that it won't be long before this historic treasure will be opening its doors to the general public. Well, all that now remains is to find out if we have managed to match Steve and Yvonne's ambitions with our properties for their new life in the country. I do think there is really only one contender. The big question, of course, is has it impressed them enough to want to buy it? Well, as ever, there's only one way to find out, and that's to ask them.
Well, what a week it's been with you two, isn't it?
Yep.
3 very different properties. Now, I'm guessing there is only one real contender here.
Yeah, number 3, the Mystery House.
Why?
Oh, because it just had everything. Space, open plan. Oh, it just blew me.
There's no competition with the rest. I mean, the space is all there. The architecture is lovely because it's a bit of a quirky building, which is nice.
But is it your new home?
Well, potentially, we're going to, on the way back, go and have another look around it, and then we'll take it from there, I think.
I think it would be a great base for you from which to launch, well, this new chapter in your lives.
Yeah.
I've got one concern.
Go on.
Well, if we ever invite our friends across there, then we're going to have a job getting rid of them, aren't we?
I think you will. I think you will. But you're going to have plenty to keep you busy in the garden.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you really can start again with that.
Yeah.
It's a blank canvas.
Yes, it is. And I'm really ticking off the sorts of things I could do.
Yeah.
I'm delighted that we've got you that bit closer to realising your new dream in what could be, I hope, your new home, our Mystery House. Well done.
You know, when we started out on this search, Steve said to me that regardless of the number of properties we were going to show them, it would take only one to satisfy them. And whilst that may sound overly philosophical, of course, he's absolutely right, but it doesn't escape the fact that sometimes when you're trying to match the right house to the right buyers, well, it can feel like you're looking for a needle in a haystack. But thankfully, finding beautiful homes in Herefordshire is an awful lot easier. I'll see you next time. Although Steve and Yvonne thought our mystery house was stunning, they concluded that the neighbouring farm was just too close. Their search continues. If you'd like to escape to the country in Scotland, Northern Ireland, England, Wales, or even further afield to the continent and would like our help, then please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.